Hi, welcome to today's session. Okay, so what do you need help with? Really? Okay, let me make a note of that. Okay. Laughter as defense mechanism, right? Have you tried turning it off and back on again? But you see, in my notes it says you're just not very good at recognizing the red flags in a relationship, and I mean, this is what, the 5th time he's cheated on you? I mean, come on, Stacey, it's time to let go. It's time to let that man go. Yeah, I see. But then how does that make you feel as a person? You know, what's going on in that little head of yours? Right, okay. So Taco Bell gives you diarrhea, but Subway does not. Right. Well, I can't really help you with that, but that will be $1,000 for my time. Okay, see you in the next one. Okay. Hello, you guys. That was my sort of intro to this new series that I'm going to be doing on my channel. I'm sure you guys got the vibe from that, but it's going to be a sort of advice column series, Ask AYMZ. So basically, in this series, I'm going to be asking you guys every week to send in sort of your troubles, your worries, what's bothering you. Is your boy not acting right? Is your girl not acting right? Is something deeper going on? Are you not happy at work? Is your depression or your anxiety just too much for you to handle? Do you just need some help? Well, here I am. Yes, I've got the glasses, I've got the notebook, and I've got the pen, so I'm ready to write down your troubles and I'm ready to give you proper advice. If you guys don't know, my name is Eamon, and if you do know, then clearly that's why you're here, because you've subscribed to my channel. And the advice is gonna be mostly serious. Obviously, I'm gonna crack jokes because that's what I'm like as a person. Humor is my defense mechanism, I can't help it. So don't think I'm taking your problems lightly, but you know what I mean? It's hard not to joke about things when they're going wrong. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's get into it. I wrote down, well, I didn't write down your questions, that was a complete lie. I screenshotted the questions that I'm going to use today, so let's just get into it. Okay, this one is from an Instagram user that has not replied to me about whether they want to stay anonymous or not, so I'm just not gonna say their username, but they said, I had a fight with my girlfriend and decided on time apart, around 2 months. She now tells me she has a boyfriend. Should I be okay? Honey, I'm reading this question and I'm not even okay for you. Okay, firstly, there's a lot of context that we have to get out of the way, and there's a lot of questions I want to ask, but obviously this is not a running conversation. It really depends on what sort of conversation you guys had before you went on this break. For example, like, it's very like Ross and Rachel-esque, like, we were on a break. No, we weren't. Like, were you on a break? The thing is, anytime a couple goes on a break, it's very murky territory, and you really have to have that conversation beforehand of exactly what the break means. Like, is this a break where you guys are still together, but you're just taking time apart, and you're still together and you still are loyal? Or is it a break where you've kind of, you know, broken up for a little bit and you guys are okay with the other person going on dates or seeing somebody else in this time apart? Firstly, I'm not sure if you guys had that conversation before you guys went on a break or not. If you did, and it was okay to see other people and she ends up having a boyfriend, I mean, at this point, there's nothing really you can do about it because she's already in another relationship, which is actually quite shitty. I feel like if the break or the space apart was just of you guys trying to like gather your thoughts and stuff before coming back, I feel like that's completely out of line for her to suddenly just get into a relationship. But if this was like a breakup sort of break where you just want to see, you know, if maybe you'll come together one day and like you'll want to be together again, then I think it's perfectly valid. Either way, I mean, I don't know how long you guys have been together. I don't know how serious or not serious your relationship is, but I know, my man, I know that you are heartbroken. Don't worry, we've all been there. If you're in a situation and if you have that sort of relationship with her where you do have like really good open communication, I would basically just ask her and be like, you know, like, we were in a relationship, we were just gonna take some time apart, and I, you know, in my mind, I was sort of like, you know, like, we'll have some time apart and then, you know, hopefully we'll come back together, but then you've sort of entered into another relationship. So first, ask her sort of what that even was about. I would be like, you know, I just want to see where your head is at, because if you didn't want to get back together with me, or if you realized in this time apart that you didn't want to be with me, I feel like you should have told me that. Because obviously, like, if she hasn't said anything to you, you're just there like twiddling your thumbs at home waiting for this time apart to be over, right? So you can go back to her, right? I feel like in love, everyone says not to wear your heart on your sleeve because you're gonna get hurt, but really the only way to really get answers from the person you're in a relationship with is to wear your heart on your sleeve. I feel like you should tell her everything that you're feeling, that like this was not expected, and you know, you thought you guys were gonna end up together and now suddenly you have a boyfriend. So obviously, you know, like, what's going on in your head? Like, why didn't you tell me this? You know, is this just a rebound? You know, is this something casual? Like, do you want to be with me at some point? I feel like you guys really have to have that conversation. But honestly, the fact that she's got into another relationship, I feel like she's maybe not down for this. Obviously, I don't know either of you personally, so I can't make judgments because I don't know the ins and outs of your relationship. But if it was me, I would definitely, first of all, I'd flip shit. I'd be like, what the fuck is this? But no, I would definitely have that conversation. Like, communication is so key and it's so important. People hate confrontation, I get it, but it's something that has to be done. If, you know, you want your own closure, if you want to figure out what the fuck's going on the other person's mind, you want to know what the hell they're thinking. We're not psychic. I was gonna say psychos. We're not psychic. Like, I can't read your mind. You know, you have to tell me these things. So that's what my advice to you would be, young man. And please tell me what ends up happening. This is something I do want to follow up with. Okay, this is more dating advice. This one comes from WolfGuy121, and he's asking dating advice. I'm too afraid to ask someone out. I've been laughed at just for asking a girl out, so how do I do it? Firstly, what kind of shitty people are the people around you that are gonna be laughing at you for trying to shoot your shot? Firstly, surround yourself with better people, you know, people who support you and are behind you gung-ho 100% of the time. I know everyone's confidence levels are different, but honestly, you need to realize the worst possible scenario that could ever happen with you telling someone you like them or asking them out is rejection, is that they're gonna say no. Not even rejection, just think of it as a no. The worst they could do is say no. And if they say no, okay, fine. like, maybe you're hurt, maybe you're not hurt, but you'll get over it. At least then you'll know that, okay, this person's not interested in me, I don't need to waste my time on them. I think you also have to, you know, read her vibes. Is she flirting with you? You know, does she like talking to you? Does she start conversations? How often do you guys hang out? I feel like if there's interest being reciprocated from her end, I feel like go for it. Why the hell not? You have absolutely nothing to lose. I'm sure you're a wonderful human being, and anybody would be lucky to be in a relationship with you, unless you're a serial killer. Then I'm sorry I gave you this advice. The next question is how to suck pussy right. Why don't you ask your mom? I did a number on her last night, buddy. I'm not gonna answer this question. I don't have experience doing it myself, so it's not like I can tell you anything from experience. All I know is every girl is different, and you should really try and figure out what your partner likes and what they don't like, and, you know, just ask them. I feel like some people are very embarrassed to, you know, go into their preferences and whatnot, but I mean, how are you ever gonna have fun with your partner unless they know what you like and they know what you don't like? And also, if that was too vague, there are videos online and there's also tips. Literally Google it. Like, I don't want to say anything too R-rated on my channel, but you know, there are definitely things you can do to you know, make things, you know, go the right way. Just a quick break from regular programming. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now, if you don't know who Skillshare are, they are basically a learning platform online that have thousands and thousands of classes, all ad-free, by the way, so thank God, no time wasted at all. They have topics like art, freelance, photography, fine art, whatever you want, they will have it. And all the classes are thankfully 45 minutes to an hour long, so they really do fit into your schedule. A class that I just recently took is called Instagram Worthy Photography, Shoot, Edit, and Share with Brandon Wolfell. And if anyone on Instagram Instagram is watching this, then you guys will have heard of Brandon already, because he is so huge on the YouTube and Instagram space, and I really wanted to learn from him. I followed him a really long time ago. I loved all the shots he created and the videos that he's made, so I was like, how does he do it? What is the magic behind it? He gave a lot of tips and tricks in the video, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this in my next video, in my next picture. And I mean, if you guys see a difference, then do let me know, and all credit does go to Brandon Wolfell. But I did not forget about you guys though, because the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in my description box will get a 1-month free trial with Skillshare Premium, so you can just, you know, do all the classes you want, get the biggest bang for your buck because it's free, and do all the classes that you want to do. But yes, back to it. On to the next question. Okay, this person called Bremen R87 is asking, how do I feel less overwhelmed by my new puppy? And oh my god, dude, I completely understand what you're going through. Like, when I got my cat, like when she was 7 weeks old, I was going through it. I was under so much pressure. I was like, oh my god. Now, like, based from experience, believe me, I know the first few days of having a new pet, especially when they're babies, is so overwhelming. May it be the fact that you also have a job, or you're in a relationship, or you have kids of your own, or, you know, you're just my age and you just have a job and it's fucking hard. First things first, it is okay to get overwhelmed. It is a very big responsibility getting a new pet into the family, and especially when they're at such a young age where really they're looking to you to literally keep them alive and help them survive. Maybe food, you know, water, taking them for walks, giving them love, all these things. They're literally relying on you for life, for everything. So of course it is so completely overwhelming. But I hope in your instant you do have some people around you, maybe your siblings or a partner, or even your friends, that can sort of, you know, come over and help you here and there if you're feeling too overwhelmed. I think my big advice would be, take it one day at a time. I know people, like for myself, for example, I suffer from mental health issues as well, so I was also on the boat of like, oh my god, how am I gonna keep this little thing alive and keep it afloat when, like, I'm really struggling to do that for myself. But the thing is, they learn, and they learn very easily, and we also need to realize, you know, baby animals and stuff are not as fragile as they seem. Of course they are very fragile, but you know, a couple like falls here on the ground here and there's nothing wrong with that. And you will also learn. If you're a first-time pet owner, I completely understand your worries. If you've had pets before, you know the drill. You know they're gonna be fine. You know, like, you know, in a few days he's gonna be eating his own shit. You know that. There's nothing you can do about that. I think my main thing would be just take it one day at a time. It gets a lot easier. The first few days is really overwhelming because the new puppy is adjusting to you, to your life, to the routine that you're now setting for the puppy. And of course the puppy is also stressed. It's being taken away from its mom or its siblings. It's going through a whole, you know, stress situation of its own. I know when I just got my cat, she got an ear infection and she got a cold because the stress really lowered her immune system because she was stressed because she was away from her parents. So just be attentive. Remember, you don't have to stay up day and night caring for the puppy. It is okay if it's crying in its crate. It will learn. You don't have to be at its beck and call, but it will take a few days of adjustment, and before you know it, you're gonna have such an easy routine going on that you'll never even remember why you were overwhelmed in the first place. But I understand the first few days are a fuck show. I completely understand. It gets easier and easier from there. It's literally like having a newborn. So I hope that helped. If you need any more advice, like, message me on Instagram. I will 100% reply to you. We can have a conversation. Okay, the next question is quite serious. It is from Arabella Massacre, and she is asking, how do I tell my long-term boyfriend that I don't want to have a baby and would rather foster and adopt? Now that is a really tricky situation for you to be in. Firstly, I'm gonna preface this, I don't know the ins and outs of your relationship, but I'm hoping if he is your long-term boyfriend, you guys have had conversations in the past about whether you want kids, whether you don't want kids, and I'm assuming he does want want kids, but probably your own and not fostered or adopted. I'm sure you also understand where he's coming from. I'm sure a lot of people will understand where he's coming from. Fostering and adopting is a lovely thing, but some people, you know, really want that biological connection to their child, like this is my child made with my sperm and in my wife's belly and blah 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 blah. There is that mindset as well. But firstly, kudos to you for wanting to foster or adopt. I think that's such a lovely thing to do. And I think you should start, like, you know, mentioning slowly but surely to your partner, you know, sort of, you know, gauge how he feels about the situation. I think you also need to tell him why adoption and fostering appeals to you, because, you know, like, there's one child that is really in need that doesn't have parents, or their parents don't want them, and you guys could be those parents to give that child everything: love, like happiness, family, you know, all these things that they may not have had you guys not adopted that kid. So I mean, there's so many, you know, pros to adoption and even fostering. I know the foster system is such a shit show and kids are really neglected, and, you know, any really solid good family in the foster system makes a ton of a difference. So I mean, I think you should definitely drop these hints slowly to your partner, and it's at the end of the day, it's up to you. If he is not comfortable with adopting and fostering, that's a huge decision that you guys will have to, you know, take, because it really is a make or break for a relationship, especially if you do not want to have your own kids biologically and you're 100% against that for whatever reason you might have, and he only wants that, then that's definitely a conversation you guys have to have, like, do we want the same things? But I feel like if your husband wants children, or sorry, if your partner wants children, he will come around to the fact that you want to adopt or you want to foster. I feel like if you just tell him truly why you want to do these things, I'm sure if he's an understanding person who'll understand this is a really big conversation, so give him time to even digest the information. But honestly, like, I think you should ask him what he thinks of it, you know, and if he has any negative thoughts towards it, or if he has any misconceptions, then you can also be there to be like, no, it's actually like this. I know you think this, but actually this. You know what I mean? Don't, you know, try and shove your opinion down his throat, because nobody wants that. But, you know, try and educate, try and, you know, encourage, and try and see where that conversation gets you. I don't have kids of my own. I do have a nephew though, so I love babies to death. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to answer this question because I don't know a lot of the things that have gone on in the relationship. But I am just answering it and telling you how I would deal with it if this was me. The next question is from a fellow content creator called Ibi_Pi, and he is asking, learning how to operate in the Muslim creative space. And boy, is that hard. Especially even for me, like, I, you know, was making content in Canada. In the Western world, things are very different. Certain things that are taboo in the East and in, you know, like Muslim societies are not taboo at all in the West. So I fully understand that, even down to like the clothes I have to wear for my videos, or like the questions that I'm now answering, because obviously I got so many R-rated questions, but I can't answer those, you know, at this point in time. I think you yourself have to look inward and know what your boundaries are and where your sort of beliefs are. I know this person personally, and I know you've grown up in Dubai. I know you now live in Canada. So I feel like people who have grown up outside of Pakistan or outside of like these Muslim societies, we do have a more like open-minded modern take on maybe religion, may it be, you know, a lot of issues in the world, maybe, you know, things to do with gender roles, the patriarchy, even misogyny, things to do with sex education, all these things. There's a huge difference. But honestly, there's so many Muslims in the world, and you know, like, it's not all a serious sort of creative space. Like, I see so many like memes and, you know, like meme videos about like Ramadan problems and like, you know, like shit, dealing with stuff like growing up as a Muslim. Like, it is a really fun creative space to be in. I personally haven't entered it myself yet because I feel like I'm completely on the other spectrum. So I think it would be hard for me and ingenuine. But I know you. I know you have recently found, you know, a more stronger bond with God, with Allah Mia. So honestly, do whatever you think feels right. Make content that you are happy to make and that doesn't cross your boundaries and doesn't make you uncomfortable. You know, don't talk about things you don't want to talk about as a Muslim. And if there are certain things you do want to talk about that you know will get sort of backlash from the Muslim community, I think you always need to preface that kind of content and be like, hey, this is just my opinion, you know, I'm not saying this is the right opinion, I'm not saying, you know, you guys' beliefs are wrong or whatever, but this. I feel like disclaimers like that go a really long way, because you know what I mean, like one single thing that you say can be taken completely out of context and they can cancel the fuck out of you. So I feel like definitely go with that disclaimer, and also look at what other Muslim content creators are posting. Like I follow a lot of them and they are hilarious. So I mean, I know you're a funny guy. I'm sure you'll find your space in the Muslim creative sphere, and I can't wait for it. Right, and that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you for coming to therapy sessions with Eamon. I hope you've had a good one. I hope I fixed your life, because I certainly haven't fixed mine. And that is it for today's video, you guys. I got so many questions, honestly, but I talk so much, and I wish I could literally have like half an hour or 1 hour with each and every person that asks me a question, because I have so much to say. I feel like even though I'm young, I've gone through a bit too much for my age. I've always been also surrounded with like people a lot older than I am, so I feel like I matured a lot quicker than most people do at my age, and I feel like I have a pretty solid head on my shoulders. I've gone to therapy for a very long time. I know the things that work and the things that don't, so I'm just kind of excited to, like, you know, just help you guys out and give you some advice. If you guys do want to be featured in the next video, then definitely either DM me on Instagram your things you need advice about, or comment in the comment section below. As always, I hope you enjoyed and I hope I helped. And do remember to subscribe. Hello, subscribe now. Bye.